What?
What?
What the hell is this?
Harumph. I didn't get a harumph out of that guy.
Give the governor harumph.
Harumph!
You watch your ass.
I see you shiver with anticipation.
Let the show begin.
Hey everybody, this is David Heretic coming at you with another edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. And tonight, alright, we're coming back to Leander. Yes, indeed. Leander fans, feeling you. Come on now. Here we go. Before we go any further, for those of you who are feeling inclined to doing all of the clicks and the likes and the bibbity-bobbity-bop, do me a favor before you do all that stuff. Please watch the whole video first, okay? Give me a chance to actually earn those clicks and likes. Now, after the video's done, if you still feel like doing all those clicks and likes, then by all means, feel free to click away. This comes as a request from Daniel Hune. And Daniel wanted to see me react to this is Leander putting their spin on the Lady Gaga tune, Bad Romance. Now, have I heard this song before? Full disclosure, yes. Yes, I have. I've heard this song a number of times on the channel. I've heard the original. I've heard a cover done by Hailstorm. Actually, I take that back. I've heard two performances of this song by Hailstorm. And Rolling Quartz did a cover of this that I did a reaction to as well. So I've heard this song a number of times, okay? Trust me, I got the gist of the song. Now, having said that, I've never heard this cover by Leander. So, full disclosure, full transparency, not trying to hide anything here. I will not be reacting to the original song itself in any way, shape, or form. I will be basing my reaction, my evaluation, and my score completely on the cover that Leander does. Are they going to do a carbon copy cover? Are they going to put their own spin on it? Are they going to take it so far out in the left field that we don't recognize it? I don't know. I have no idea. I guess we're just going to have to find out. Let's see. This was posted by Leander Rising. Okay. And the video has 1.9 million views. It'll get you there. Other than that, there's really nothing else left to say. Link to the original video will be down below in the video description for your viewing pleasure at your leisure. Let's get started. What do you say? Are you ready? Are you ready? Because here we go. All right, here we go. Leander, Bad Romance by Lady Gaga. Cool. All right, let's do this.
All right, boy, let's do this.
Well, this is the thing. This is a very real thing. It's out there and it exists.
Because what is reality?
If I'm being honest, I don't know if I'm digging this or not. I don't know. Part of me isn't. And it, for me personally, it just really comes down to the vocals. I'm not really digging the vocal work. That's just me personally. I will give all the credit where credit's due, though. They have Leander's definitely put their own spin on this, without question. There is absolutely no question. It does. I mean, here's the thing. It sounds like the original. It does. It's recognizable, which you want in a cover. One of the worst things you could have when you're doing a cover is have your audience listen to it and go, what is this? What is this? Is this the cover that you were talking about? Is this the cover that you're trying to pay homage? It doesn't sound anything like the original. That's a problem. If your cover is not recognizable, that's a huge problem. There's a big difference between putting your own spin on things and giving it your own flavor and taking it in a slightly different direction. There's a big difference between that and taking it so far out into left field that it sounds like a completely different song that is unrecognizable compared to the original. Now they're doing it. They're doing a great job of it. They're absolutely knocking that out of the park. It is. I recognized it immediately within the first 5 seconds. I was like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, Bad Romance. I get it. The introduction of the heavier elements, the bass, the heavily distorted guitar, nice, thick, and crunchy. I like it. I like everything they're doing. I like the play with feel that they're putting in there, especially when it gets to the halftime where it gets super heavy. The vocal work, while I may not be a fan of it necessarily, there's no denying that, again, they're putting their own spin on it. They're definitely taking it in their own direction, but you can still recognize it as a cover of the original. There's no question that they're covering Bad Romance. So I may not necessarily be the biggest fan of it, but there's absolutely no doubt that they are paying homage to the original while putting their own spin on it. That's awesome. Gotta give them props for that. Let's keep going here. Let's finish this out and we'll get to the review. I like that halftime feel. I like that. That was nice.
I want your love and I want your revenge. I want your love. I don't wanna be friends. I want your love and I want your revenge. I want your love.
ending. I'm always in favor of changing things up. I'm always in favor of, switching gears, but so abrupt and so disjointed from the rest of the song as the actual ending. That felt, because they put it at the very end. If that had been somewhere in the middle and they had gone back into the main groove of the cover that they've been doing up to that point, it would have made a lot more sense. It would have felt a lot better. That just felt unnecessary. It felt disjointed. That's a bummer. Let me get my thoughts together. I'll see you in the review and we'll talk about it. Well, there you go, folks. That was Leander putting their spin on the Lady Gaga tune, Bad Romance. This was a request from Daniel Hune. Okay, let's get to the score. Let's just get to the score, and I think the score will pretty much say everything I need to say, and it'll all line up, I promise. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give that a 7.7. Yep, 7.7. I feel good about that score. Let me tell you why.
Why?
Okay, first things first, a 7.7. What does that mean? Well, a 7.7 would translate to a really good skill rating because overall, I think this was a really good cover. It would also get 4 to 5 stars and a B+ letter grade. So there you go, a 7.7, really good skill rating, 4 to 5 stars, and a B+ letter grade. Now, how did I come up with that score? Haha, so glad you asked. Remember, I'm not taking the original song into account here. I've done a reaction to the original song, and on top of that, I've done a reaction to a cover from Rolling Quartz of the song, and not one, but 2 covers of Hailstorm. Hailstorm did the cover, did 2 different covers of this. So I'm pretty familiar with this song and several covers. So I'm not taking the original song into account here. I'm basing this evaluation and my reaction and my score completely on this particular cover, okay? Having said that, this particular cover was really good. It definitely put their own spin on it. This was not a carbon copy cover by any stretch. They definitely put their own spin on it. They definitely put their own flavor on it. But here's the thing. I've heard a lot of bands do this where they'll put their own spin on it and they'll take it so far out into left field you don't recognize it at all. One of the biggest things about doing covers is you got to make it recognizable. You have to. Otherwise, people are going to question what in the world this is they're listening to. This doesn't sound like, Rebel Yell from Billy Idol. God, there was one cover I heard, and there are so many covers to that song, by the way. There are dozens of covers that I've heard. There was one cover that in particular that I forgot the name of the band that did it, but it was so far out and left. It didn't sound anything like Rebel Yell. It was like, what in the world is this? You don't want that. You do not want that. When people want to hear a cover, they want to be able to recognize the song. Well, that was not an issue here. They definitely put their own spin on it, though. Playing around with the straight time and the halftime, I like that, especially the halftime feel. They would end out using the double time as a transition to go back into the main riff again. I thought that was clever. Still recognizable. Instrumentation sounded just fine. I got no issue with anything that happened instrumentally. Guitar, bass, keyboard usage, drums, all sounded just fine. Vocals. I may not be the biggest fan of the vocal work, but the vocal work for the most part was done well. When he was doing the open throat grit and growl, the death growling, yeah, that sounded great. He did a great job of it. There were a couple times where he went into the upper register grit and growl vocal, and it sounded a little too pitched. It sounded kind of thin, and wasn't the biggest fan of that part, but it still, overall, it was still effective. The clean vocals, when he would do the clean vocals, sounded just fine when he was singing with pitch. My only real gripe about this, if I'm being honest, was that ending. If they had taken that ending and put it somewhere in the middle of the song, so they would have gone into that, expanded it, make it even longer, that would have made a lot more sense. But because they put it at the end and it was so different from everything else that happened in the song, it sounded very disjointed. It sounded completely disconnected from the rest of the cover. And if I'm being honest, folks, it did more harm than good. It sounded like a completely different song. It did not add in any way to the cover. If anything, it acted as a distraction. So I'm really not big on the ending. I don't see the connectivity. But like I said, if they had taken that and put it in the middle and even expanded it, make it, 8 measures or even 16 measures, and then gone back into the main groove that they established, that would have been way more effective. Far more effective than putting it at the end. That didn't do anything for me. And to be perfectly honest with you, looking at the song objectively, it didn't really do anything for the song either. So it did hurt the score a little bit. It did bring the score down a little bit, especially since it was at the most impactful part of the song, the ending. Maybe not the most impactful part, but one of the most impactful parts. You want to end strong. That's not how you end strong. But in any case, taking everything into account, it's still getting a 7.7, a really good score. So I feel good about that score, and that's where we're going to stay. So let's wrap everything up here in a nice shiny bow, shall we? We have a 7.7, which is a really good skill rating, 4 to 5 stars, and a B+ letter grade. Take your pick, I don't care, whichever one of those floats your boat. Final word, final score, I have spoken. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. Hope you all enjoyed the show. Hope I was able to entertain you. If I was able to put a smile on your face and brighten your day, I did my job, and I'm so glad I could do it. If you guys feel like joining the fan base, go ahead and click on that button down there. If you guys want to like the video, go ahead and like the video. If you guys want to ring the bell, go ahead and ring the bell. It honestly doesn't make any difference at all to me, but if you guys feel like doing these things, well then by all means, feel free to do so. Well, that's going to do it for tonight, folks. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, this is David Heretic signing off, reminding you to stay fabulous and support each other. Later. Peace.